Don't go on a cruise in 2020. That's right, I said it. In today's episode of the Lido Loca cruise show, I'll give you 5 reasons why cruising in 2020 is a bad idea. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Tony. If you enjoy cruising content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of the content. Well, yes, I've been on social media. I've watched all the videos on YouTube. Everybody is just dang giddy about the new health protocols released by Norwegian Cruise Line, the new health protocols released by the Bahamas Paradise, the new health protocols released by Genting Cruise. Everybody's excited because now it seems like there's some momentum pushing us toward the August 1st date that all of the cruise lines are touting as the time that cruising will resume in 2020. Oh, happy days. Man, people are so easily pleased. Look, I'm not here to burst anybody's bubble. I'm not here to rain on anybody's parade. But let's be real for a moment. Every one of those health protocols, they got caveats in it. They got the little disclaimer that says, yeah, these are the health protocols at the moment, but we're not really sure that these are going to be the health protocols when things really fire up again. Stay tuned. They could be amended. And you know why it says that? Because the CDC hasn't said yes or no to any of it. As a matter of fact, I was just perusing the Miami Herald. Their big story is that the CDC has come up with guidelines on how to finish off repatriating the crew. That's right. There's still crew members still trying to get home out there. The CDC, they've come up with a color-coded system to talk about whether the cruise ships had the virus, not had the virus, had it in 28 days, not had it in 28 days. They're still trying to work out how to get people off the cruise ship, and everybody's all just so excited that we're getting back on the cruise ship. Now, honestly, I'm going to be cruising in 2020, no doubt about it. I'm one of those people, but there's a lot of people that aren't out there, and so let me, without much further rhetoric and ado, let me get into the 5 reasons why you should not cruise. Number 1, the number 1 reason you should not cruise is there is no treatment, there is no vaccine, there is nothing changed when it comes to the virus. I mean, we went through the shutdown and now we're reopening and everybody's acting like something happened, like Charlie gave back the everlasting gobstopper and the elevator went out the top of the roof and everything is hunky-dory. None of that's changed. Now, look, you may throw your hands up in the air and say, well, it's, we deal with the flu every year and we deal with norovirus on the cruise ship. Why is this different? Because we know how to deal with the flu and we know how to deal with the norovirus. I hope nobody's arguing that the cruise ship is not an incubator for infectious disease. It's true. I hate to hear it, but it's true. And so now you're going to get back on a cruise ship without a clear path how to get better if you get sick. The treatment's the same. Write it out. Maybe we can stick you on a ventilator and hopefully your body gets you through it. Maybe it won't affect you at all. Those are still the same things that we were saying 3 months ago that we're saying today. And once cruising starts, that's not going to be different. Nothing's changed when it comes to the virus profile, and if that's something that bothers you, 2020 might not be the year to hit the high seas. Number 2, it's what I said earlier. The health protocols are not completely locked in, and so if you're somebody that doesn't like change, if you're somebody that's anti having to do anything different than you've ever done before, these health protocols are going to be intrusive and they're going to be different. In the Norwegian, there's some question as to how often you'll be temperature scanned. When's the last time you went on vacation and every couple days somebody takes your temperature? There's going to be social distancing. There could be things in there that haven't been mentioned yet. There's one thing that everybody's like, I'm not cruising if that's the way it's going to go. It still could happen. still could happen. So if number two reason to not cruise in 2020 is it's going to be different. It's going to be disruptive. For goodness sake, it's going to be a self-service buffet. You're not going to be able to put your clammy hands on a cream puff or a yeast roll, and you won't be able to take a whole tray of fish. You're going to be served there in the buffet. That's different. That's not normal cruising for a lot of us. So yeah, if you are adverse to change, and especially change that is controversial, maybe it's not the time to get on the cruise ship. The number 3 reason to not get on a cruise ship is you might not get to go anywhere. Now, there's a few ports out there, Bahamas, Jamaica. They're like, yeah, send some people down. We're ready for it. But you know what? I hear more stories about places that are not that inviting for cruise ships to come back. Canada, they're not looking for it. Hawaii, they're not looking for it. Grand Cayman, they had some trouble. They weren't looking for it. Again, more stories I hear of places not wanting cruise ships to come back than cruise ships to come back. And so what kind of cruise is that? For many people, isn't the whole point to go see somewhere new, not just get on the cruise ship? I know there's some people out there that just like going on the cruise ship, but there's a lot of people that say, I'm not going on vacation if I'm not going anywhere. And that's still unclear. There's only 6 months left in 2020. Do you think everybody's going to be open with the carpet rolled out for cruisers to come back? If you're worried about that, I don't know, jumping on a cruise in 2020 is the thing to do. The number 4 reason is there is a stigma against cruisers. Look, you might say, I don't care what anybody else thinks about me, but when the push comes to shove and you go on your cruise vacation and you come home and your work says, look, you can't come back to work for 14 days, and now because you made that choice on your own, you're not going to get paid, that could be a problem. I've been to places all over my town just as I've started to get out a little bit, and they're asking questions like, have you been on a cruise ship in the last 14 days? When I went to get my driver's license, they asked me, have you been on a cruise ship for the last 14? And I'm like, dude, you haven't been able to cruise for the last 45 days. No, I've not been on a cruise ship. I'm not excited as a person who loves to cruise that every time I go somewhere to do something in this virus situation that somebody's asking me about my business, asking me if I've been on a cruise ship. Now, I'm sure you can be defiant, but I'm not advocating lying. I've heard people like, I'm just not telling my employer. Well, that's not good. Like, why would you want to have to live in dishonesty? You know, I get it, but still, who wants to do that? So if you are not down with being stigmatized about cruising, maybe give it some time. And the last reason that you may not want to go cruising is that people are challenging. Look, I live under the delusion that we all engage in some sort of social contract, that we all are kind of on the same page. Look, I see the people on Facebook. I see the people in the community, in the comments. Yeah, the cruise lines can talk about social distancing. They could tell me that I have to wear a face covering. They could tell me to do this. They could tell me to do that. But you know what? I paid my money. I'll do whatever I want on the cruise ship. And I've seen it firsthand. I went to the Kennedy Space Center for a rocket launch over the weekend. They had very clear guidelines. Stay 6 feet apart. Cover your mask. You know what I saw? I saw people wearing the mask to get through security, and then they would take their face covering off. Security would come and remind them to put their face covering on. They would put their face covering on. Then as soon as security walked off, they would take off the face covering. And I was surprised. I mean, social distancing kind of went out the window as the crowds increased. It's a tough nut to crack. They're not playing by the rules. They're not adhering to what they're agreeing to going in. And we're all going to get on a cruise ship together and hope that there's not part of those people that are just waiting to see what they can get away with. What kind of life is that? Why are we trying to game the system here? I want to go cruising, and so if it means following the guidelines, I'll do it. It seems like simple math to me. If you don't want to do the guidelines, don't go. So that's what you got to deal with. A good reason not to go in 2020 is you're going to have people, and they're going to be mad about it. You're going to have people that are disgruntled with the guidelines, not wanting to follow the guidelines. And if you're a guidelines person, you're stuck with the idea of I either have to go live in that chaos or just not go. And yeah, so it's going to be the Wild West in the beginning. And here's the deal about ditching the guidelines on the cruise ship. Who do you think is going to have to enforce that? Do you want some room steward or somebody up on the Lido like, oh, I really think you should social distance? I know they're already going to be cleaning 24 hours a day, and now you got to make them police people that have agreed to do the right thing? I don't know. It's a good reason not to cruise in 2020. There's 6 months left Can you hold out, or is that urge to cruise? I'm going cruising in October. Tomorrow, I'll tell you 5 great reasons to go cruise in 2020. But I just want to be real here. I just want to lay it on the line. I'm all for rainbows and puppy dogs, but I don't think we're at that place yet where it's time to light the firecrackers and say the world is normal. It's just not. And sticking our head in the sand is not going to solve that problem. So if you're going to cruise in 2020, go in eyes wide open. Accept the challenges and deal with it. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe I'm just a little cranky today. I apologize. Leave a comment below. Thank you so much for watching the show. If you enjoyed it at all, or even if you hated it, show some support by hitting the like button, and that way I'll put something up tomorrow that you can hate on again. If you haven't, please subscribe. My name's Tony for the Lido Loca Cruise Show, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.